Okay, let's create some products. So we're going to put these in our store. So that's the cart. This is the list of all carts for all users. Let's have a fixed product list. So every product, what kinds of things does it need? Oh, we want a list of products. And while I do this, I'm going to base the column names so they look a little bit like what we're going to be sending back. So the result of the shopping will be that we send back an XML message, something like this. All right, so um, we've got some header details here I'm not too worried about, but the punch out order message um, has got a total. This is the total amount spent on the shopping, and then a list of items, item in to item in. So these items here, these can be repeated. And what I want to do is to kind of copy to a certain extent, sort of reuse some of the names that are used there. So my list of products then will be a list of objects, and every object will have the appropriate columns. So let's go for supplier part ID. So supplier part ID. There's no reason I don't have to stick to these names, but I have enough trouble coming up with names. So supplier part ID, we'll number them at, I think, 1001. So supplier part ID, it will have I don't know if it's got a description. Can we see a description there? The supplier part ID, that's essential. Auxiliary ID, I'm not bothered with. There's a description, and there's a unit of measure, and there's a classification. We'll just stick with the unit price and the description. So we've got a description, and product 1001 is a widget, and it's got a unit price, and the unit price of the widget is $100. So that's product 1, and product 2, and product 3. So product 2 and product 3, we've also got a gadget, and we've got a G-jaw. Okay, and gadgets are expensive. They're $200. And these are a bit cheaper. These are only $50. Okay, so that's my product list. And I will pass the products into the shop. So I don't want to reuse product list. So I want to say products equals products. So save that and edit the template. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Templates shop it was. Okay, I don't know if you remember how we do this. Oh, we don't need this anymore. We don't need the raw XML. Get rid of that. So our products will have a table, slash table, and in the first row we'll have the headers. So tr, th, what did we say? We've got the ID, and we've got the description, and we've got the unit price, and that'll do for the moment. And then if you remember, we use this format, so for p in products, that's a list, and we end it with N4. And every time around the loop, we'll create a TR, and a TD and TD. We're going to repeat this several times. All right, so there are 3 TDs, and this one is P dot, what was it, supplier ID. Put that in the curlies, and we've got P dot description and P dot unit price. Let's see what that looks like. Of course, it'd be much better if this came from a database. Okay, so we can't reload that. Every time I restart the server, I lose my session. So let's go back in. Okay, so here we go. We've got ID, widget, gadget, and gjaw. What's wrong with the IDs? That's supplier ID. What did I call it here? Supplier part ID. I think I won't be able to reload. Oh, I managed it that time. Good, so I've got the ID, the description, the unit price. Maybe here I'll have a quantity button, and I can add and subtract the things as they go through. So let's put in another column for a buy. So let's have another column. I don't have a header for that. We'll put in a new column here, and in here we'll put in a button. No, not a button. Let's have okay, so a number of ways of doing this. We could have a text box down here and then a single submit button. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll put in a text box and we'll put in a line here. So this is an input. We've got to give it a name, and the name is going to be a little bit complicated because the name has got to be made up, has got to include the supplier part ID. So this is, I'm going to call this quantity P dot supplier part ID. And that should be a big S, of course. Okay, so that's the input, and we will default to a value of, no, we won't put a value in at all. Okay, so that's just the input. I've thought of a heading now, so this is, the heading here is quantity. Okay, all of this has got to be wrapped into a form. So the whole table is inside a form. And at the bottom of the form, we'll have a input type equals submit. Let's see what that looks like. So reload. I just want to show you what's going on here. If I can start the, if I can inspect that. Okay, let me dock that. Okay, so can you see that what I've got is the name of each of these fields includes the ID. That means that when I put values in, I'll be able to pick them up. At the other side, I'll be able to pick them up in the return. So if I put in here, I want one of them and two of them and three of them. When I click on submit, we should see the URL. Okay, can you see here? It says quantity 101 is that, quantity 102 is that, quantity 103 is 3. So it went back to the shop and it picked up the quantities fine. There's some things missing though. I guess we've got this value here, which is fine. It's kind of hung on to that, and that's useful. We can keep that so we know which customer are on. And these values we should be able to pick up from the request. So let's have a go at that. I'm just going to do one more test. I'm just going to try and see what happens when I put in one of these and I leave the others blank. So I'm going to click on submit and we look at this line here. You can see this one's got a value equals 1 and this one just equals blank. Should be able to pick all those values up. Okay, so that was the template. Let's go back to the server. Okay, so in the server here, when I clicked on submit, it went back to this same URL, so the SCID stayed as it was. But this time I should have the new products that I've just picked up. So the list of products should be in request dot now. How did it go? It was like request dot values, I think. Let's just see what that looks like. So let's put in v equals request dot values, and let's pass that in a raw way so we can see what we're looking at. So v equals request dot values, and this is just for debugging. I'm going to print out here v is v. Let's check that out. Okay, try 1 and 2. Okay, now it's given up. I had to restart the server, so I'm going to have to go back. Okay, let's try again. Oh, that's a shame. I was hoping for something more informative there. You see, we can do things like I want to get the keys out, so let's find out how to do that. So we're looking for Flask, and this is a get request, and we want list parameters. Getting an array as get parameters. So what are the parameters that came through? So that's how you do it in PHP. Well, that's quite handy actually. You know how to do it in PHP. How do we do it in Python? It's request args get list param name. Okay, now this is slightly more complicated. I want a list of different keys. I'm not worried about this. I just want. Okay, this didn't answer the question that was being asked, but query params, I think is the thing I want. So request query params. Let's change that. Where did I set up v? So I set up v. It's here. What was it? Query params. Okay, try that guy again. That one's dead. This one might work. Request has no object query params. I'm going to downvote this guy. Request.query params. Well, that didn't work for me. Let's try another. This was answering too complicated a question. Get list of parameters. List of parameters in Flask. How to get all parameters. Okay, so request.args.get. Print request.args. Okay, that's really what I was after. Let me try that again. I've got query params. Let's try args. Okay, give this a go. No, it still doesn't look very good. Okay, that's a bit better. Now we can see some stuff. So we've got pairs. So that product and that product. I'm looking for a list of the keys. Okay, so for k in request.args. Okay, so I want to update this thing here. I want to put in that. I want to put in the pair. So I can say carts scid. Now that thing had a list of products. Was it prod list I called it? Can you see where I set this up? So cart is that. Every time the cart ID has got a user and it's got a prod list, so I'm going to update that prod list. Prod list dot append. That's not append, is it? Okay, and I'm going to put in a pair, and that pair will be. Okay. So the keys, if you remember, the keys that come through, it's quant and then that number. All right, so to pick that out, so that's I could just use substring. So qnt is the name of the parameter. So for every key, let's get the quantity is equal to. So this is the key value that's coming in, and I want character 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want character 4 to the end. So that is K4. That should give me those 4 characters, and I want to turn that into an integer. Okay, that's not the quantity. That is the that's the supplier ID. Supplier part ID is that, and the quantity is well, it's the value. It is request.args.get. Okay. Okay. So request.args is this dictionary. Yep. So a dictionary with that's the key and that's the value. U is telling us that it's a string, and I want to turn that string into an integer. But I only want to do that if it's not blank. So let's just put a test there, a test here in fact. So if request.args.get k does not equal the empty string, then we'll set up this stuff. Okay, so this is going to be supplier part ID is supplier part ID, and the quantity is the quantity. But let's not forget to quote our key values. Okay, so we've added items to the products. That's all looking good. So the cart will come back. Good. You know what we should do? We should before we start the loop, we should clear this out, otherwise the product list is just going to accumulate every time. But let's just see how it goes. Okay, so let's try and reload. Nah, we keep having to go back. Okay, it's fine so far. One of them, one of them, one of them. Oh, has no attribute prod list. Okay, I am mixing up again. I'm mixing up my Python with my JavaScript. So can you see the error there? I've got dictionary has no attribute product list. I'm trying to get the product list out. Find prod list. Not that one. This one here. So we can't use the dot notation here in jQuery. In JavaScript we could do that, but here we have to index like that. So prod list is it's not an attribute. Okay, we get the key error every time. Go again. One of them, one of them, one of them. That's better. So the cart contains that guy, and that guy. Good. I think that seems to work okay. All right, so I want one of these and two of them and three of them. Okay, now my cart is getting bigger and it's got duplicates in it. It's not a great data structure to be using here. You know what? I'm going to send this to another location. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this bit of code here, this processes what the user requested and adds them to the shopping cart. And I'm going to put that in another route. So I'm going to have another route called checkout. So app route no checkout. Okay, and I'm going to pass on that SC ID. Okay, and this is going to be def checkout. It's going to take in SCID, and this is going to return another another template called checkout.html, and I'm going to pass into that. I'm going to pass the cart in. Cart equals carts SCID. I've got a whole bunch of problems piling up here. That's fine. Let's use the code I had here to pick that up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. So 6 DD and then capital P. So I've shifted that code. This code, it picks up the request ID. I run through, no, I don't need that line. I run through all the request args. If it's not null, then I work out what the supplier part is. I work out what the quantity is, and I add that into my cart, and then we'll go to checkout. So that's checkout, that's .html. Okay, so I need, when the person clicks on the submit button for the shop, I want them to go to checkout, and I want them to have this SCID in there. Okay, so let's update the shop template. So the shop template, to make that go somewhere else, I have to set the action. So action equals checkout slash, and I've got to put in SCID so that it finds the right one. So that's the action, SCID. I'm going to have to pass the SCID into this template. So VI server, and where's shop? So here's shop, SCID. So I've got to add in, I'm not interested in this anymore. So I want SCID equals SCID. Okay, try that. Okay, so let's go back and click to here. Okay, so if I do one of those and two of them and three of them and click on submit, it'll try and go to checkout, and checkout doesn't work. There's no such checkout. Also that shop/checkout. So two problems to fix there. So one is that I have to put in a route for checkout. Oh, no, I have to put in it. Yeah, no. The problem is that it's done /shop/checkout, and that's because the action that I just came up with in shop, here's the action, that should start with a slash. Okay, let's go back, click on this. So one of them, two of them, three of them. Okay, that's better. So now I'm getting template not found checkout.html. Okay, so this is the shop template. Let's do something similar. Let's write this out as checkout.html. So vi templates checkout. I've done something wrong there. I've saved checkout locally, so let's move checkout to templates, and now vi template checkout. Okay, welcome to my shop. Welcome to checkout. We're not having any of these things. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Your cart contains cart prod list. That's what I want. I'm going to regret that. Undo. Because for p in, let's make this similar. For p in cart dot prod list, we've got supplier part ID and we've got quantity and nothing else. Don't want that. Okay, write that out and try again. So one of them, one of them, one of them. It's taking me to checkout. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted, but it seems to have the right stuff in there. Let's see why it hasn't formatted that properly. So it's I've lost the table, that's why. It's annoying that I can't reload. I don't think I can reload. I'll give it a go. Reload. Oh, okay. All right, that's because it just keeps accumulating. Okay, we've got lots of problems. Let's start again. Come to here. I'll have one of them, two of them, three of them. Submit that. And now this is my ID, description, price, quantity. This is the quantity. It's only the quantity that's left. So let's take out all of these. It's just ID and quantity. Good. Let's go back, try again. So one of them, two of them, three of them. Yep, so I've got ID and quantity, and that's fine, that's in checkout. Okay, so we've got a mechanism for passing the data between the different templates. We could certainly do it neater than that, but this will do for the moment. The next stage will be to try and submit that and put together the XML message that's going to finish this whole thing off.